Hi everyone, so it's Sunday evening and season 26 has officially ended, at least here in Europe already. So we are looking towards season 27 now. I made a video about the tier lists, the new builds, etc. just earlier today. And here I want to just review the season, give my thoughts a little bit, and also talk about my achievements. Season 26 was so long, it's actually crazy. So I think this is one of the longest, aside from season 1, I believe, with like 4.5 months duration. With the expected like 3 months, that's definitely way over the mark. In fact, it's quite funny that this year we only gonna get 2 season starts. So we have now the 26th of August, and this one, season 26, was the 10th of April. There's guaranteed not gonna be another one in December. So instead of 4 seasons, we got 2 this year, basically. It's kind of hilarious. I hope that's gonna improve a little bit in the future, but at least we're getting a pretty cool season update. So I'm really looking forward to it. It actually struck me the other day that season 26 is still the same season that Diablo Immortal released in. And I played season 26 and then went there and then quit that and did a lot of other stuff since then. It's actually, it feels like ancient history to me. But anyway, let's look at what we've done this season. I have played for around 200, maybe 300 hours-ish, a bit less. So it wasn't really like a super long season for me because I only blasted like really hard in like the first month or so. And then we had like other stuff coming up basically. So I started with a Bard, that was my main, but I played equal amounts of Demon Hunter and a bit less on a Wizard. And that was a bit of Monk. Yeah, right, this was my little return where I was playing Uliana, so that was just for the rules. But it was actually really cool. So the Barbarian start is something I had never done. So I was really hyped about the Raker Barb. It was a really powerful build. I really liked the feel of it, the whole concept. So I played that first and farmed up most of my Paragons with it. And it was really cool. I had a really awesome start. And I ended up at rank 4 here on a Barbarian. So 141, that was like my final goal. Back then, that was the rank 1. And there's a bunch of other people that have pushed higher. But I think for my Paragons and for hardcore, that was a pretty good result. You can definitely go higher if I had just kept pushing for like another week or so. A few more tiers would have been possible, I guess, without a rip at least. But I was quite happy with that result. I was not really focusing too much on only like a single build to push, because I've been playing 3 different classes, in fact. And I've pushed like all leaderboards with each of them. So that was quite a lot of work. But some of the other clears were actually also quite nice. So here we have a Seismic Slam clear that actually ended up at rank 1. That was really fun. I can recommend trying out this build. So if you like Might of the Earth and you want to not play Elite Quake, then there's Seismic Slam. That was really cool. Wastes, I managed to get a hit rank 2 at least. 135 is not really impressive. So I was just like a rather small push here. This could also be way higher. Like some of these guys could all push way higher, I guess, because Waste is a build that really profits from good rifts. Here's a Mortal Call. That's like basically just like LOD Hoda, just a tiny bit weaker. I guess there's not much competition on a leaderboard like this. Savage usually is, kind of fine. That was also kind of nice clear, 127. That was very easy, I remember. I did this in like no time. So that was kind of good. And finally, the Hoda. This was another build I was really excited to try out. So this was buffed in season 25 already, I believe, in the Soul Shard season, but I didn't really try it there. And then we did it here in season 26. And especially with season 27 giving us this insane Hoda buff, where 150 will be very achievable, even at this Paragon. I think I'm gonna go for that actually. So 150, season 27. Now that I've played the build a bit and with this new whirlwind power, it's gonna be really fun. It's a really cool build. And it feels a little bit like, Natalia Demon Hunter, I guess, with like strafing around with the whirlwind. And they do like nuke phases where you smash stuff. And it feels pretty good once you get like the full combo and like a huge pull. So that was a pretty fun push as well. Although also kind of small, so it could be way higher, I guess. Then we have the Demon Hunter, so this was something I played quite a bit as well. I think at some point I managed to hit like the rank 1 Barbarian and the rank 1 DH at the same time. And there's a bunch of people that have pushed very high. So one of my main competitors here was Saluter, also a nice guy, streamer, so go check him out. He was pushing really hard on the edge. The other guys I don't really know besides Ugi. He's also like a big hardcore blaster. But yeah, this was really fun. I played multi-shot this time around because in Season 25 I played with Cluster. That made more sense with the soul shards. And I really wanted to, like, you know, try out multi-shot this time around and see the differences a little bit. And pretty much everyone here, I believe, is like Cluster Arrow, and I'm pretty much the only multi-shot guy. And it seems to me that multi-shot is like a tiny bit harder to push high. So you have to include the Baneful Stricken a bit earlier and get a bit of a disadvantage there because you lose his Ace. And yeah, I felt like with like a comparable character, it was just like, yeah, not exactly on the same level as in my competition. But yeah, overall, the builds are still pretty much similar. Cluster Arrow versus multi-shot. It's just like higher positioning requirements. It's harder to do. And it was a fun challenge. So I was quite happy about this clear here. This was really cool. Shadow's Mantle, we actually managed to hit the rank 1. So that's kind of cool. And yeah, 130, that was a decent result with like 3 seconds difference. And I was playing the cold mobile version. So in case you have checked out the new guide that I reworked in Season 25, there's like 4 different push versions now. Fire, cold, and mobile, immobile. So there are like some setup differences here where this one is like one where you kite around and you try to protect your squirts and these kind of things. And then there's like these face tank, these old style impale versions. So these are played here, for example, with Endless Walk, where it's like way more simple. And I really like this mobile version. So this is like a bit more like multi-shot, I guess. So that is pretty cool. And I really like multi-shot, of course. Speaking of which, we got a really nice clear here. So 126, that was really cool. So physical, multi-shot, always a classic. And in Season 27, that's looking pretty funny as well with the strafe included. But obviously, I mean, this is like, you know, the Demon Hunter build here. And I'm actually not really super hyped to push it in Season 27 with the strafe, but it's really fun for farming. So T16, etc. is going to be amazing. This is going to be like maybe the best T16 build of the season with strafe multi-shot next time around. Then we have Natalia. I think I was memeing here. I think this was like Fan of Nice. Yes. Yeah, Fan of Nice is not exactly like a top build. But yeah, somehow we ended up here because lack of competition, I guess. So usually people just play like Natalia God, which is obviously far superior and way easier. But I had some fun playing Fan of Nice. Might do this again next season. We'll see. Or maybe I do try to do some other Natalia meme. That was always fun, especially if Shimizu included. Gears of Dreadlands, I remember, yeah, that was a really sick clear. That was 11 minutes. Yeah, I got like a really good run on the tier that I probably should have increased by at least 1 or 2. And it ended up 11 minutes. I was like, okay, I'm done here because this just ended up being so good. And yeah, the time looks amazing. So I played the Odyssey's version. So this is like the hard mode of God Demon Hunter, so to say. And it's like a tiny bit better. It's like around a tier or so better than the Valas and the crossbow versions and stuff like this. You have to include 2 different generators and then have like the right timing. It's really fun. I could just recommend you, if you have played a lot of God Age, just try out this version at some point because it's like a new challenge. But keep in mind, this makes the build like way more challenging. So probably like 10 times harder or so. But you can see the power of this. So I'm 2.4k here with 133, 11 minutes. And here's like a 3.1k guy, 130, 12 minutes. And 2.7k, 129, 10 minutes. So this clear is definitely like way above the others. And God Demon Hunter is not exactly a build where you can do as much with like, you know, fishing and, you know, outplaying monsters and stuff. So the main skill element really is keeping the squirt's necklace as high as possible. And then you can include the Odyssey's End like as the final version, so to say. That makes it even harder, but slightly better. And here's the no 6-piece set. I did another meme here, actually, I remember. So that was Bolas, S2, God 2. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was like a full meme. Obviously, don't try this at home, kids. But it was kind of funny. So I was just like standing there attacking stuff with this setup with Bolas. So it's ended up on the front page apparently. So yeah, good stuff. But yeah, usually this is rapid fire, and well, I really hate rapid fire. I never want to play that build again. So yeah, we're gonna keep doing memes on the LOD leaderboard, I guess. I already have something pretty cool planned for Season 27. Then finally we have the wizard. So this is my third class. Yeah, nothing really crazy. I was kind of like running out of time towards the end. You saw earlier I only had like 70 hours on the wizard. So while I was already like prepared with my paragons and stuff, you still need time to gear up, you still need time to push. And I didn't try like super hard here. So this 136 was kind of nice, but you see 13 minutes and there's like a bunch of other pretty high clears. I expect these are like Archon clears here. Yeah, this is Archon Shimizu, really high paragon, so this is just a stronger build. And this is actually a non-Archon build. This is actually a really good clear for non-Archon, but again, also like higher. But you can see what you can do with like more fishing. So this is 8 tiers above me. So there's a lot of potential for something like Twister, where you can walk into a Fields of Misery and, you know, pull 100 monsters into a Twister. So that can be pretty nasty. Then you have Firebirds. So with this, I also took the rank 1, at least at a time. And then I beat it with the LOD that I just saw. I was still being ranked 1, so it was kind of cool. Usually, yeah, people play something like this here with Endless Walk. Or there's also like Explosive Blast, I guess. Yeah, these guys are playing Explosive Blast. And this guy as well. And I was doing this with Focus and Restraint, Generator, and Skirts. So I really like that setup. So I don't really like this Explosive Blast version where you like focus on Explosive Blast with your main damage source with Death Wish. It's like too boring for my taste, and you have to really pay attention to your Obsidian resets, which is very annoying. So Firebird is actually really fun with the Flame Blades, and in Season 27 that also gets a pretty decent buff with the new Magic Missile power, so you can shoot these fire Magic Missiles. It's effectively the same build, but it's ranged now, so you can use Zays. Seems like on the Wizard leaderboard there was also quite some competition. Veers, I got 130 down. This was with the double element build, which is usually a tiny bit better than just like the pure cold build. So yeah, this is also like another very, very fishy build. Also for hardcore, it's very squishy, so it's very hard to push this on hardcore. So the only protection you really have is the slow time when you come out of Archon. And if you don't hit your slow time and you walk into any kind of ground effect or some projectile, then you're dead. So this is how that works, at least until you get your Orb of Infinite Death stacks up, and then you're kind of fine. So this is something where you have to be really careful. But that was fun, but I also didn't really push super hard. You can go way higher if you fish more. So you see this clear, for example, it's just like 1,400 paragons more, but 2 tiers higher, way faster. And let's see what this guy played. This is actually cold. So cold is actually a worse build than mine. So it's actually kind of interesting that this is so high. Let's see DMO. I really like DMO Twister, but I think this time I played Arcane Orb. Yes, so I've played DMO Twister a few seasons in a row almost. And here we did Arcane Orb, Frozen Orb. Yeah, this is effectively one of the builds that got a pretty good buff in Season 27 as well. So you don't need a slow time anymore. And you have like these auto bubbles now, and you get a season theme for Frozen Orb. So DMO is actually looking fairly solid now on the Wizard. There's not really much competition here, so you see like there's really low clears. Tarasha. Okay, so I think that never changed. I believe when I did this 130, this 105 was already there. Yeah, you see this is the 26th of April for a Paragon 969, dude. Nice. And then we did this. I played Twister, Tarasha, Firebird. That was really fun build, actually. With infinite teleports and the Firebird, you get some toughness there. This is like yet another version of playing Twister, and it feels pretty fun. But obviously that is pretty dead now with the meteor exchanges. But yeah, I was quite happy that I played this one. This was one of my favorite pushes actually of the season. And yeah, pretty comparable actually to some of the other clears. So quite happy with this. Here we have Typhon. That was also rank 1, pretty cool. So I played a Twister again, but this is not a Twister like DPS build. This is just for the pull. So Rancer's Folly. This is like kind of like the high-end version here that you can play. I did this with a melee setup, so I get my shields. Usually you drop teleport for this to keep like a range playstyle with electrocute and magic weapon deflection. But on hardcore you can't go without teleport. Like, you get surrounded once, you're dead, and that's it. I actually played this without G-Def, so you gotta be a bit careful here. So I included like a melee version instead. And this Twister stuff is really fun with Hydra. So this is something I'm gonna do again at some point for sure. And here's the LOD leaderboard, so we saw that on the overall already, because it was quite similar to the Firebirds. So yeah, the Shimizu Twister and the other Twister, and then me. So yeah, my clear is kind of potato here, but okay. And I did this Uliana clear. I'm not sure if anything ever happened there with this leaderboard. I actually kept the ring 1. Okay, so this was something that I've done when I quit Immortal. I just like booted up Diablo 3, and I had like my really scuffed Uliana monk. You can see this that I just like pushed for like an hour or something after playing it for a night, and yeah, here we are, I guess. So pretty awesome. Obviously, if you compare most of these clears to a softcore, then most of that is pretty potato. So we see here, like, even Uliana is like way higher. The wizard clears, there's a kind of 50s even and stuff like this. So typically on hardcore, there's simply like less going on, and yeah, less fishing and like less tryhards and also less cheating. So clears are generally way lower, and yeah, you can see the differences basically pretty clearly here. So not all of these clears that I've done here are like super impressive or like the craziest clears ever, but overall, I gotta say I'm quite happy with them. And yeah, it worked out well. I had a lot of fun in the season, and I think I'm gonna play season 27 more. I'm gonna play a lot more classes than just 3, I guess, because there's all these seasonal powers that I'm looking forward to try and push with at some point. So I have some pretty big plans coming up. In case you're wondering, I'm planning to play softcore again. So after 2 full hardcore SSF seasons, I decided to go blast with the boys again. So Norfie, Rob, and we're also gonna have Shinky Winky. We have a pretty strong lineup here, and we're gonna be playing most likely double DH, double Barb. That's a pretty funny setup with Hoda and Impale. And maybe we're gonna do some last minute changes depending on how good the Meteor Wizards look. So that might be an option as well. But yeah, personally, I really wanna blast the Demon Hunter, I wanna do the Necro, the Wizard, and yeah, probably some of the other stuff, like, the Hoda, as I mentioned, maybe some Witch Doctor stuff even. And we'll see about Crusader and Monk. There's not really that much on those classes, but doing like a Raymond push would be kind of interesting, I guess. One thing I didn't talk about now is the Season 26 feed, the Echo Nightmares that I introduced. So yeah, I kind of enjoyed it, especially on hardcore. It was kind of like an interesting challenge to try to not to die while reaching wave 150 every time. So that was actually leading to some interesting moments here and there. But overall, yeah, now that they changed Echo Nightmares, and it's not really like, that relevant and that crazy, and you don't need to farm it for the XP necessarily. You just get your free augments basically, create a wave 125, which anyone can do pretty much, and yeah, you're fine. So I think that's kind of like a good solution, just to like speed up the augmenting process, and especially for someone who wants to play multiple builds. Even when you play a lot, you're not gonna get enough augments. In fact, even with Echoing Nightmares in the game, I was running out of augments towards the end. So we can see this here, I believe. I think I was doing like this monk push with like some pieces not even augmented and stuff like this. Some of the others are. And I was actually like throwing some self-leveled, like, level 100 gems on some pieces, on some pushes. So even with Echo Nightmares, that was kind of a struggle. So I'm quite happy that they made it into like a permanent feature. And this will really help with these kind of plans that I usually have for a season when I'm going to do like 30 different builds. That's also it for my season 26 summary. So let me know how it went for you. What was your greatest accomplishment? Did you achieve all your goals? Some funny stuff that happened. And let's look forward towards season 27. So I'm going to be blasting, of course, starting from Friday, all day long basically. I'm going to be uploading a lot of stuff. So stay tuned for that. I hope you enjoyed this video here, and I'll see you guys next time.